The crazy news that they don't want to tell you. This is Coincidental Chaos, and today I'm coming to you with some quick facts. Let's read a book. In Season 3, we'll be combing over the Spectro Chrome Magazines, the abridged version, by Dinshah P. Ghadiali. Disclaimer: I am not a medical professional. This discussion is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only, and is based upon reviewed historical research and my own personal experience. The opioid epidemic in the United States has been consistently on the rise for over 20 years now. But the global opium supply chain has been going on much longer. This article from the Spectro Chrome Magazines explains how the U.S. actually used to gift opium to China. Representative Dyer, Republican of Missouri, revealed that the principal source of the opium supply in China was the United States. The drug was first imported into the U.S. and then shipped to Japan, where it was continuously poured into China in flagrant violation of Chinese custom laws. Dyer declared, "There are 2 or 3 concerns in this country that do or have been doing this very thing. One of them is located in Philadelphia." Another political representative by the name of Miller replied that he thought the condition will be effectively blocked by the enactment of legislation. Legislation nothing. Exposed the name of this Philadelphia firm and enforced laws already in existence. There are, according to latest information, over 39,000 laws on the statute books of Pennsylvania, and if a few were enforced, the scandal would cease. The trouble lies not in want of legislation, but in political graft. Clean the gangs. In 2010, Afghanistan was the world's largest opium supplier, accounting for nearly 80% of the world's opium. Simon J. Spedding, medical advisor, says, "Working for a year in the Kabul Children's Hospital in the 1970s gave me a perspective on Afghanistan that conflicts with the Foreign Office's view that the Taliban is promoting opium production to finance terrorism." The simple facts are that opium production was high under the U.S.-influenced government of Afghanistan in the 1970s, decreased tenfold by 2001 under the Taliban, and then increased 30-fold and more under the U.S. to the same level as in the 1970s. History shows us how empires function, be they British or U.S. The East India Company organized the opium trade through free traders, men with fast ships and weapons to fend off the pirates. Now, under the Obama administration, the White House released a statement that said government officials abused their positions by benefiting financially from the drug trade. And they also said the responsibility for curbing heroin production and trafficking lies primarily with the source countries. The profitability of growing opium poppy and the lack of resources or commitment by regional governments to implement crop substitution, alternative development, or eradication are key factors that prevent significant progress towards reducing opium production. And yeah, I guess that sounds good, but it's just not true. Today, the U.S. government has changed their tune. While the Taliban has successfully banned opium, now they say that is bad for Afghans and the world. Supposedly, the ban is not a counter-narcotics victory and will have negative economic and humanitarian consequences, potentially leading to a refugee crisis. But remember, just a few years ago, we said that the responsibility for curbing heroin production and trafficking lied with the source country, Afghanistan. We also said that eradication was a key factor that was necessary to reduce opium production. So what happened? Well, some things never change. Dinshah gives a pretty good example in the Spectro Chrome Magazines of how the profits from liquor sales were used back in the 1920s, and the same can be said today with other substances. In 1923, the British government reported a profit of $1,250,195.12 from its sale of liquors. The report adds, 5% of this amount will be placed in the reserve fund, leaving $1,187,685 to be divided. 15% will be placed to the credit of a special fund for hospitals and charitable institutions. Another 35% goes direct to the municipalities, of which 2/7 must be used for school purposes. The remaining half of the profits will be credited to the Consolidated Revenue Fund. What a noble and magnanimous dispensation. Intoxicate and poison the people first, then put them in hospitals and pauper houses with 15% of the poison income to set them right. Also, let the children get the blood taint and poison from their parents and learn the elevating example of gutter sniping from them at home. Then, use 2/7 of 35% to correct the habits at school. The Consolidated Revenue Fund will probably go partly to support more officers. Mark the words of a born British subject. The British government is responsible to the whole civilized world for its support of the narcotic situation. That government yet controls the entire liquor monopoly in India and is the sole responsible power in the opium monopoly. Clean the gangs.
Are you ready to open your eyes?
Well, I guess that cat's out of the bag. Follow me for more quick facts with Coincidental Chaos.